Alrighty. Hello, welcome once again, and welcome to. Great. Hello once again, and welcome to.
You can record as your room. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, record.
Hello once again, and welcome to our chat. We're going to be talking about transitioning businesses from traditional way of things to now moving to the digital space. The world is moving to a digital space. Now the question remains, is it really possible for real estate? Now to unpack on the matter, I'm joined by Ms. Sethebe Manake from Vantage Properties to just have a chat on this matter. Hello, and welcome.
Hi, and thank you so much.
I want you to take us through the inception journey. Who is Vantage Properties and how did you come to that?
Okay, simple thing. Vantage Properties is, like everybody knows it, a real estate research firm, and it came from a simple thought that when Botswana want to make real estate decisions, oftentimes they are disadvantaged by the lack of information that's available in the market. This is something that I realized at age 23, and that's how Vantage was conceived.
Nice. And that's how many years ago? Just
a lot of years ago.
Nice. What are the core businesses? What did you mention that
market research? Yes. The different services that we have are investment advisory services, market research, feasibility studies, but they have definitely anything that has to do with giving somebody the ability to make the correct investment decisions using the right kind of information.
Yeah. Why property market research instead of agency or development?
Passion, I guess.
Nice.
I don't like being in the sun. And those very two things put you in the sun quite a lot. Including valuation, they put you in the sun quite a bit. And I prefer numbers, and I prefer letting information communicate. So it started off as a passion project. I prefer to research and provide information. And that's why none of these other things.
One might question the level of information availability, particularly in Botswana. Did you find it as an opportunity or a niche in the market?
No, definitely it was a niche. First of all, finding information in this country is hard. Anybody who tries to look for it would know that. But what you get to know in life or in business is that the harder something is, when you do it, the harder it is for somebody else to compete with you. So because we've been on this journey for a very, very long time, that means we've got a lot of information that's available, and therefore we have greater value than somebody else who are trying to do the same in this market.
Speaking of a lot of information, can you tell us about Vantage Properties footprint?
In terms of information, we cover every single area in Botswana, from Zoroga to I'm saying Atisha because that's the A. So from Atisha to Zoroga. We've got even in the Okavangos, we cover those areas up to Bogumare and the rest. We cover all of those areas. We've got all that information about property transactions.
So does it mean that you go on the ground to capture such information, or?
Sometimes we do. It depends. If there's information written somewhere, then we go to where it is written and we digitize it. And I guess that's what we're going to get to in terms of digitization. But where the information is only on the ground, then we have no choice but to go on the ground to make it available to us.
Nice. Let's talk about that digitization process. Let's talk about the transformation process. Now shifting from the traditional way of things. Is it safe to say COVID pushed us?
No, it's not COVID at all. COVID for us was an advantage because we were able to showed people the value of the things we've been talking about. I mean, we've been in the digitization journey since 2017.
Yeah.
And this was a push from the research that we were doing at the time. I mean, 2015, 2016, when we were looking at market trends and what's driving investment decisions, more and more it was becoming evident that technology will be a driver of decision making going forward.
Yeah.
So as a research company, the only thing that we could think was, or the only thing I could think was that if we don't get into technology, we're going to lose relevance very, very quickly. So we started our journey in 2017 to digitize, and that means everything from how we do business to how we serve our customers to the type of services our customers get. Everything is digitized. And we didn't have a choice. I don't think we had a choice.
So was it always a plan, an initial concept to have everything done digitally with Vantage?
It wasn't always the plan.
Yeah.
When I started this thing in 2008,
yeah.
there was no digital communication or anything.
Yeah.
But in 2017, it was obvious that if we are going to dominate in the space that we're in, which is research, we cannot do it without being digital. There's no, because at the time, that's when there was now conversation about these new terms, where big data was coming in and all of that. And if we are in research, then big data is the obvious next natural step.
Yeah. I want us to now look at the end user. How adoptive are they when it comes to issues regarding technology? Are they embracing the new normal?
I think that's one of the things that my team's always fighting me about.
Yes.
I think over time we'll get to realize why I'm adamant about digital or the digital world or technology. It's a simple thing of understanding the future demographic.
Yeah.
So yes, right now when we are serving our natural investor is usually a pensioner, is usually a mature, grown person. But that's not going to be our natural investor in the next 5 years. Our natural investor is going to be somebody my age who came up in the digital in the digital environment. It would be you in 5 years' time who has only known the digital environment. So if we want to be alive for 110 years, then we need to be aware of our future demographic. So when you talk about the adoption of our customers, we don't expect our current customers to change their life. We do know that there's early adopters, and we're happy to have those kind of adopters, but we are looking at the future and we know that the future is digital.
All right, the future is indeed digital. I want us now to look at the opportunities in real estate. I was having a conversation the other day with someone, and I was telling her of how we're going to be having this discussion, and they were so skeptical. Real estate, digital, can that really happen? So what opportunities are there in the digital space when you talk of real estate?
I think people only see real estate as brick and mortar, and we need to understand the entire life cycle of real estate. Real estate doesn't start as a brick; it starts as an idea.
Yeah.
And as an idea, it goes through different things. You have to analyze whether that thing is viable or it's not viable. Then it becomes numbers, then it becomes finance, and then all of these things before the end product that everybody sees, which is brick and mortar.
Yeah.
So in terms of opportunities, a lot of opportunities lie in the value chain before, and in terms of digital, there's opportunities post. I believe that by now you would know that there's a lot of marketplaces, rental marketplaces, sales marketplaces. These things are all digital.
Yeah.
We've now introduced automated digital valuations. I understand it's not digital, it's virtual, because there is some incorporation of human activity there. So it's virtual. So it's all of these things of converting the things that we naturally do or we do in our profession and making them more virtual, making them more digital. And that's what it's about.
I'm interested in that automated platform. So does it mean that I can actually have a valuation of my property in Tamara? Well, here.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different stages as an individual, and I think people talk about it a little bit later on here at the Global Expo. One can do a quick property valuation. We call it a quick property valuation because it sort of gives you an idea of how much properties in your area are sold for. So you're able to do that online. You're able to get an instant property valuation, which speaks to the features of your actual property. And you're able to get a report on that. And if you want an actual valuer to validate your valuation to sign it off, then you're able to issue them instructions.
Alrighty, 2021 and beyond. What does the future hold for real estate?
For real estate, real estate is having an interesting shakeup.
Yeah.
The landscape is changing. I mean, I'm going to talk about it more on Friday about the future of real estate, but there's a lot of shakeup around the use of space now. Everybody's now aware of things like this corona pandemic. And for me, I see the future being more inclined towards giving people life fulfillment as opposed to making us working donkeys for the rest of their lives. Yeah.
Right, it is indeed taking shape. And one thing that fascinated me about this whole pandemic and real estate is just that we anticipated real estate to be one of the most suffering industries, but nah, that didn't happen. Thanks to people like my man who are doing things digitally. Now I want us to talk about safety when doing business digitally. Safety is always a concern. Security threats, being hacked. So how do you safeguard clientele information in that space?
Yeah, so I think sometimes we exaggerate things because we don't understand them well. For instance, if your information is being secured, you're able to have that digital security around that. And the one thing about digital transaction is that you can track every single step of the way. If somebody came in, you're able to see that where they went to digitally, you are able to track that. So for me, I find more security in the digital world than in the physical world, because in the physical world, the house is but digitally you can't because there will be footsteps of you going towards my spachi and there will be footsteps of you walking away. So you can be tracked, and that's the thing about the digital environment.
So why is it important for companies, businesses, even besides real estate companies, to have that shift to the digital space?
I think it all comes back to understanding how life is changing and how life has changed. It goes back to the demographic. So, for instance, it would be your grandparents were comfortable with waking up every morning, going to work, double seven in my and then coming back double 5 and they're fine. But now we want to live a different kind of life. We want to be free, we want to be more flexible, and we want to still be able to work. And technology gives you that. And the new demographic or the future demographic wants to just deliver what is required and not necessarily be stuck in a building with people working with them. And if you're not able to reach out to the demographic that will be working for you, then how are you going to be able to deliver work? The second thing is, so that's the demographic that will be working, that you'll be working with. The second thing is your customer base. The new customer base or the new demographic of a customer base wants things to be immediate, fast. We don't have time to read upon letter upon letter. Like we need things to be done quickly and at an instant. And if something is done quickly, it doesn't mean that it must lose its security.
I was painting now. So provide water. I don't know if you'd like to.
And let me just speak on that. So every time we talk to people about it, particularly our valuation platform, it would be no, but how was it secure? How do I know that this valuation is correct and all of that? There's a trail. There's an audit trail on everything there, and the calculations are more objective. They're not subjected to how I feel today, or how did I feel when I saw your house, or how was my drive to your house. It is objective, and therefore it is more consistent, and it's something that one can trust better than a human being.
Nice. So would you recommend the digital space to any other entrepreneur out there?
I always do. It's also cheaper. From a business perspective, it's more efficient for you to run your business digitally. And it also allows you to learn more about not only your customers, but also your team. You're also able to develop better strategies because of the digital technologies that are available right now.
Yeah. One thing that always pops up when you talk to business people, numbers.
Of course.
Yes.
We're in for the numbers.
So does the digital space really have an impact on the numbers that you have?
No, definitely. I mean, historically, we had, I mean, if you know about how systems were historically, people who are using big software systems, ERPs, and it's government, and it's big organizations because it was expensive. But now, more and more businesses that get into technology, the cheaper it becomes, the more efficient it becomes, and you're able to manage a business better. So in fact, for a startup or for a small business, it doesn't make sense for you to not go digital, because when you're digital, things are actually cheaper than if you're doing them.
All right. So it is indeed recommended that you can do business globally, digitally,
yes,
everywhere.
And there's no limit,
yeah.
You know.
So with real estate, you mentioned that currently Advantage you do property valuations virtually. What other activities can one do in real estate in that platform?
There is information, obviously, because we're a research company, so one can access things like what land rates are. One can see sales trends, what's happening in the market. One can identify hotspots, but this is only for corporates, for them to be able to see where the hotspots in the country where there's a lot of transactions. One can see things like building cost rates. Are they building cost rates? Yes. Building cost rates. And you're able to know when you invest in property for like making the right kind of decision, because you are now informed, you've got more information that's available.
I understand that Keith is going to be presenting later on the platform, but just to give a synopsis, where can people find the platform?
Go on GoSmartValue.com. Go Smart Value. Smart value. It's a smart valuation because it's digital.
Great. I guess that brings us to the end of our discussion. Where can people find you on LinkedIn?
They must find Vantage Properties.
Yes.
And on Twitter, it's Info Vantage. It's Info Vantage, and on Facebook, it's Vantage.
All right, or www.vantagepropertiesbw.com. Everything is there. So until we meet again later, when Keith is going to be presenting on the platform, the GoSmartValue platform. Until then, stay safe.
See you later.